everyone, and thank you for getting together to have a fun and important conversation about all the initiatives that are coming up here at LMA. You all are joining the board in 2020, and Kelly has been on the board, but is now our president-elect. And so we thought we'd take a few minutes to talk through some of these initiatives and things that are maybe top of mind for you all as new board members, as well as our members. So we'll start with a fun icebreaker question. Introduce yourselves quickly, and then we'll get to that. But fill in the blank. I knew legal marketing was a career choice for me when?
What's LMA?
All right, I'll start. I knew legal marketing was the choice for me when I watched one of my partners win a pitch who had been really reluctant to actually even involving marketing. And the smile and the high five that I got when he got the business, it had me sold.
Yeah.
That's great.
Nikki, how about you?
I knew legal marketing was for me when, my story also involves a pitch, Kelly. When a former firm, we pitched for a government RFP, and they required 5 copies, and 4 copies came to me from the copy center, and the 5th was stuck behind the credenza, bolted to the wall, and I had to fish it out with a broom. I didn't get fired, and I knew that day if I could deal with that, I could cut it in legal marketing.
Wow. It's like a Sinatra song.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
It's
You can make it
inspirational.
behind the credenza.
Yeah.
You can make it anywhere.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was exciting, and that was it for me.
Can you
All
beat
right.
that, Andy?
No, I've never crawled behind a bolted-on credenza.
Uh-uh.
At least I don't think so.
With a broom.
Yeah, they were the only ones that called me back when I applied. No, I'm kidding. I knew it was for me back in 2007. I was looking to transition out of being a paralegal at the time. I didn't want to practice law in that sense any longer, and I didn't want to be under the billable hours, so I tried to find something that kind of fit a skill set from college and then also the legal background I had.
Yeah.
Was introduced to the association, tried out a meeting with a friend of a friend, networked pretty hard, and pretty instantly I knew these were my people.
Yeah, felt really comfortable.
It did.
Christine, how about for you?
I knew the day one of the most cantankerous lawyers asked me to go on a client feedback interview with him. That did a lot. So I knew that I was making strides in a place that was tough for other people to get.
Yeah.
I'd been in healthcare for over a decade doing strategic planning and marketing, and just I'd kind of had my belly full, so I traded lawyers for doctors. There's not enough therapy in the world, I might add, for that. But I will say that a little bit of a divergent answer from everybody else. I went to a few annual conferences, and I always felt like a wallflower. Didn't quite know how to fit in, and it was my third one, I think, Orlando, and Gina Rubel they were all poolside, all the social media mavens, and she pulled me over, and it was Lindsay Griffiths, Laura Toledo, Nancy Merlin, Gail Marsh, and Heather Morse, and they adopted me, and they brought me in, they showed me the ropes, and, helped me learn how to leverage social media in a way and a voice that I think, I feel like I found a career through that.
I think that's important, right? An important aspect of our organization. I didn't go to college. I don't think any of us can say here we went to college to be legal marketers.
No.
Right.
And what I have loved about this community and what I tell people that I meet with for coffee or who want to break in is there is a huge opportunity here. And we have such in a community that embraces people who want to get into this, not only kind of helping to provide them with guidance or some more stories or how they have done it, we also providing education, right?
Yeah.
Because you come in and you're like, I don't know what a pitch is, I don't know what CRM
Right.
is, I don't know how to do social media. Can you help me? Can you show me what has worked? And coming back again to what's so special is we understand that execution is 90% of getting stuff done, and we're willing to kind of open up and share.
Yeah, you'd think we'd be fiercely competitive with each other, but we aren't. Not in that way. I mean, I think I sort of pace myself against what other people are doing in their careers, and I'm like, what's Kelly doing? I want to, but not in the way that I withhold information. There's a lot of commiseration. There's a lot of, you just pick up the phone to anybody, and they're more than happy. Jonathan Fitzgerald, a few years back when I was in a transition for work, I barely knew him. He gave me all these numbers for recruiters and different people and talked to me at length about other options in the industry. And I will always be grateful to him for that. He didn't have to do that, but he did. So,
Well, and I think picking up on that, so it's the networking, it's the information sharing, it's that sense of community. And so, you know, that says a lot about the membership. It talks a lot about why folks come into LMA. And I'm thinking through this, you know, Kelly, as we think about overarching member engagement, how that has evolved, why that's important, and some thoughts you might have on that.
So I think you can hear from our discussion so far, the membership is the lifeblood of our organization. And we're in a people business, and having people participate and truly engage. You know, with my team, if they want to be part of LMA, please don't just come and show up. Actually volunteer, get involved, right? So the value that I've placed on LMA as well is it's given me the opportunity to flex my muscles in doing things that I might not have the opportunity to do at work. When I was at a previous firm, I only managed one person. I had the fortunate opportunity to run the New York Now Local Steering Committee. That was an organization of 605 members, and you're helping to manage a volunteer team that's much bigger. That gave me the management experience. But circling back to kind of engagement and why it's important, our members bring diverse perspectives, they bring diverse experience, and it's those, that kind of information, as well as the war stories, that really kind of help inform how we move forward.
And there's no one right way to access all this. I mean, you have to figure out what your needs are as a professional and what sparks your interest. So maybe you want to speak, maybe you want to write, maybe you want to lead a group or develop something new that doesn't exist. And there are all those options available to people in this association, which is really, you hear this and it sounds like boilerplate, but it really, I do think is very unique and very authentic in a way I haven't experienced. And I've been in other professional associations.
So picking up on that, you know, we do talk about the members being the lifeblood of the organization. Our regions, our locals certainly have that foundation. Nikki, you're coming in as RLC chair. How do you see that the regions play into that?
Well, I think Kelly said it best. The members are our lifeblood, and the regions and the locals are the main touch points for all of those members. That's where they're first getting engaged. That's where a lot of people first come to LMA. Is through their local steering committees. Used to be chapters, now they're the locals. And I know that's how I first got involved, and where I met all of my good LMA friends. So we want to make sure that we're providing the best programming, the best networking opportunities at the local level so that we can keep engaging our members.
Which is so important. We keep coming back to this theme of engagement. Throwing this out to the group, how has being engaged as a member of LMA benefited you in your careers?
How is it not?
Yeah, I mean, look at all you could just look around this table. This is a prime example of, I know that I wouldn't have the job I have at Jones Day today if not for my friends at LMA looking out for new opportunities for me and calling me and saying, hey, there's this great opportunity at Jones Day. I think you would be a great fit. You should apply. And learning then from my LMA friends about how to be a better legal marketer.
Or just the mentorship and the networking and the guidance and the ability to pick up the phone and call people you don't even know and request for something.
I mean, the fact that we're even sitting here, there's a presence and an awareness that this association gives so many of us that I don't know what I would get other places. And like you, I mean, my current role at Clark Hill is because I am very connected to Megan MacKinnon, and we presented in San Diego several years ago on a Quick Start panel, and later got a chance to work together. So I mean, I think those relationships can literally benefit your career and give you new opportunities and take you up to the next platform.
The other thing too is, given our geographic diversity, like there's an opportunity for me to learn from others, not just in my marketplace or in a firm of my size at Fried Frank. It's really listening to what are people doing on the West Coast, what are people doing in Australia, and we've got international members. It's those types of tidbits that I can add to what I'm doing, and it's something that the partners might not have seen before, or frankly my boss might not have seen before, that I really think has helped me elevate. The other thing too, we talk about networking, we talk about the people we meet, it's the support, right? And being able to pick up that phone to get the mentorship, get the guidance, and just sometimes to have the confidence to take a leap, to push yourself outside of your comfort zone. And that resonates with the partners. When you go in and you really own the opportunity to be a business advisor, to them, they're going to listen. and they're
Well,
going to take what you say
There's
and run with it.
I think the other thing that it gives us is legitimacy. In any other industry, marketing is seen as just an essential job function. Marketing, we don't like to admit it, is still seen somehow as an option in legal, and to some a novelty. That we're the ones who will reformat their PowerPoint slides, right? And we know that we are capable of so much more. And so being part of this association, the information we're able to bring back, the comparative information we're able to bring back, and also the leadership that we're able to exhibit, because attorneys do respond to titles and recognition. And so when we can come back and say, you're president-elect, treasurer-elect, whatever it might be, they go, oh wow, you know, you're a shiny diamond. I'm like, certainly am, you know, and you just, that's great, you know, that helps. It helps you really achieve what you need to achieve in your career, I think.
But you're not just the president-elect of the Kelly MacKinnon fan club. Like, you're the president-elect
Right.
of the Legal Marketing Association, which is a global association that involves legal marketers of all, you know, sizes and shapes and different responsibilities and firms throughout the globe at this point. And I think the professional development that the association offered, on top of the network and the socializing and the learning, but the professional development itself, like, I am learning from my colleagues and from professionals in the industry that have been around for however long,
Right.
doing this at their firms. And you know, I joked with the new colleague that joined our firm recently, and I said, legal marketers, like attorneys, have not had an original thought in years. We just put new spins on things that work best for us and the personalities of our firms and our attorneys, because most times, you know, we work for the willing, and the ones that want to have our witchcraft help them with not just their PowerPoint slides.
Right.
And the professional development that we get from the association and learning from each other. And I can see what you're doing at Clark Hill in Detroit, which may not work for me at Buchanan, Ingersoll, and Rooney in Philadelphia, but there's something that I can change
Right.
from what you're doing in Detroit or in Texas or in Atlanta, wherever it may be, that works great for my market, my target, my clients,
Yeah.
who are not just my attorneys, but also the external clients. And I get all that from the association.
You know, and I wanted to pick up a little bit about this notion of the seat at the table. You know, for LMA, advocacy as it relates to professional advocacy for our members within your firms, within your communities, is a strategic goal for us. You know, to elevate that role for all of you, elevating the profession. Have you seen that, I'd say the proverbial seat at the table, that opportunity grow? Is there anything specific that you have seen? How can LMA maybe pick that up and help advance that? Some of your own experiences in really continuing to elevate the profession.
Well, I will go back to my healthcare experience and also where that fits in legal. Marketing, communications, planning people are often around a conversation because we need the information to promote what's going on in the organization. So by the very nature of our roles, we can break down that compartmentalization. But LMA can be extremely beneficial in that regard, based on kind of things that I said a moment ago in terms of legitimizing who we are and what we are, but also being able to give us that strategic framework to be able to say, look, I can have an impact on revenue. That's important to you. I know it is, attorney, because at the end of the year, you want more money in your pocket than you don't. So allow me to be part of the conversation. Don't just say, I need you to send these chocolates out to the clients because we've done it for years and it really works. My mom has this phrase, I'm snapping my fingers to keep the elephants away. There are no elephants. It's working. And I feel like sometimes we have these things that people come to us and say, we've done this for years and it really works for us. But we can say, what problem are we trying to solve? I have tools that can help you get there. And I can demonstrate outcomes and data and realize for you the revenue goals that you have and the growth goals you have.
And to Roy's point, just because you have a seat at the table doesn't mean that you always have a voice.
Yeah.
I think LMA
Great
brings
point.
along the credibility for us as legal marketers. When we are at the table, we can speak with, we know, authority. We have the data to back it up, or we know how to get the data to back it up. And if we don't know, we know we can call each other and get some advice.
The other thing too, as we start to see a shift in how law firms approach their business, and there was an article written in the Wall Street Journal recently about partnerships and how the partnership model is shifting. There is a real opportunity for us to continue to impact even at a higher level, as we've earned that seat at the table and we've earned kind of their ear as trusted advisors to truly make an impact, not only on the bottom line, but the ultimate success of business. And in my mind, that's super cool, right? That's an opportunity. I have been in the industry since 2007, so pre-2008, and I've watched how our role and just who's listening to those who are in our positions, and the shift, right? And how we're seeing not just, well, what types of chocolates are we picking this year? Well, let's take a step back and let's take a strategic look at how we are touching our clients and kind of what impact that is, both from a financial perspective as well as what impact it is for the client.
And I would say also picking up with this notion of advocacy, certainly diversity inclusion is important for LMA on several fronts, not only as an association, but helping to advance that within your own firms. And we know many of our members are challenged with making that a valuable proposition within their firms. I throw this out to the full group. What tips, what strategies can we give the rest of our members to be thinking about this to elevate that discussion within their own firms?
So I always think there's an opportunity with diversity. It's different perspectives, and it's something that from building a team and looking at our own function is I want people who are going to bring different things to the table. What also too, our focus from an organization has empowered me to go back to my attorneys and say, hey, guess what, guys? Let's rethink what team we're putting in front of the client. Specifically clients who've expressed through their materials, their websites, their 10Ks, that diversity and that diverse perspective is really important to them. I now have the credibility because we are walking the walk, right? We're talking the talk, and now we're walking the walk. And now I can go to my partners and say, hey guys, let's take a step back. Diversity is important to us as an organization, and it's important to our clients as well.
I think my problem with the diversity and inclusion conversation is always this concept, this abstract concept put in a glass bowl on the mantle, and we're like, we are diverse, we're handling this like the United Colors of Benetton ad. And I that dating myself with that reference, but I think
I got it too.
What I think is important is, and not to be Machiavellian about it, we get access to GCs who tell us we are looking at this, and we aren't looking at it just to say, you have one person of this and one person of that, because we can easily fall into that trap, and we have to be very careful about sort of casting for color or gender or age or sexuality or faith. We have to say having a diversity of voices around the table gives you better solutions. When you have better solutions, we do better work, and when we can match the distribution you have on your side of the table with what we can offer, then we're able to work together that much more coherently. And I think LMA has done a really good job of framing that discussion and gives us good language to go back to our firms and say, there's a business advantage to this, it's the right thing to do, and also if you want to retain your talent, it's an important thing to do. So.
It's beyond just the right thing to do. I mean, you have to be thoughtful thinking when you are filling roles or when you're trying to fill that pitch. Don't put someone there just because of their, color or their
right
ethnicity, or they'll see right through it. You need to have that discussion. I think that's where our voice comes in, because we know our attorneys and we know who would best fit the role and not just fit the role. So I think that's where we play bring a huge benefit to the firm in helping them maneuver their way through the waters.
It's about sensitivity and empathy. What are they looking for on their side of the table, and let's make sure we think about that strategically and thoughtfully.
And Christine, building on what you said, it's voice of the client, right? That goes in my head a lot of times, like, what is my role? It really is to bring that voice of the client and almost be like
their advocate.
Right, their advocate. They're the little birdie in their ear of remember the client, what would the client think, and make sure that our partners, our lawyers, are really thinking with them in mind.
And it's not just pitches, it's the way you write your web copy. It's don't just grab the image that seems to address many quadrants. Like, that may or may not be a gay couple, they may or may not be of some ethnicity, but they'll put them on the brochure. It's not about that. It's about how do I want to access information about your firm and learn about you and have that empathy and sensitivity. That's, to me, what diversity and inclusion does for you.
And we've talked a lot about some of these priorities for next year: diversity and inclusion, continued with our advocacy, member engagement, what's happening at the regional and local level. As we round out our discussion here this evening and we think about 2020, yes, many of you are new coming onto the board. Is there anything else that surfaces to the top for you that we'd want to share with our members and folks that might be watching this?
I think what jumps out to me from a membership standpoint is that this isn't your dad's LMA. if you were engaged, let's just say even just 5 years ago and kind of fell off for a bit, you're like, yeah, it's the same thing. It's always been there. It's always been this way. You would not recognize the Legal Marketing Association if you came back right now. There are plenty of disengaged, really for lack of a better way of saying it, members who were engaged for a period of time and either they changed jobs, they didn't have the support of their employer, whatever it may be, who we would love to welcome back because we know they're out there. We know you're out there and we're coming for you and we'd love to have you back to show you what this new LMA is like. It's almost like the annual conference. We talked about it last year, in Atlanta on the stage. This is not going to be the same conference you've been to before. And year over year now, we're almost trying to top ourselves in improving in every facet of the member experience, whether it's the local programming, whether it is through all these new initiatives we have, whether it's the annual conference, our big gala every year that we bring everyone together to learn at the same time. This is not the same old LMA, and I think that's really important with everything we're discussing right now.
I'm also really excited about the new LMA Next and bringing and incorporating into our future leaders. When we read the Race for Relevance a couple of years ago and thinking about how the membership experience has shifted for our younger generation, they're kind of what's coming next. And to be able to get them involved and also their passion, it's infectious, right? They're excited about the possibilities, about where this industry is going, where this industry can take them. Getting them into the fold, that gets me excited, as well as making new friends. I mean, that's one thing I do love every year when we have a new crop of board members come in. We all get along so well, and meeting those people and really getting to know them, that's super exciting for me.
And so wearing my regional hat, at the local level, that's where I want to see more engagement and a reinvigoration of volunteers. That's how I started volunteering myself years ago, and I wouldn't be where I am today in my career without taking that first step where my boss encouraged me to throw my hat in the ring, to have a position on the Atlanta local committee, and now I'm here. This is what it can be.
Well,
the locals and the regions are so important because that is almost always your first touch point.
Exactly.
Exactly
So that's one of the focuses that I really want to see us have this year is re-engaging volunteers, maybe people who have become disengaged for a couple years, come back. We have so many new things to show you, so much added value, and you can bring so much to the table too. Come on back.
Well,
I think that's our responsibility as members of the board is to stay involved and not just at the international, but go to our local
that's
meetings.
right. Be visible.
Be visible. Be mentors. I mean, if you don't have that boss that's encouraging and wanting you to step out and do some good leadership things, it's our responsibility to go and tap them on the shoulder and
Grab
say,
you. Come
Or
on.
call us and we'll help you find a new boss.
there you go. There you go.
Right, to Nikki's point.
I also think that the level of discourse has changed in my time. I've been in LMA since 2011, and maybe it's just I know more people, but I feel like there's more candor. We're more transparent about things. We're not in an echo chamber like we may have been once upon a time. And there's an accessibility that we all have as a board, and we want to be accessible. We want to make change. There are no sacred cows. We are going to change things for the better, and it's already happening. I mean, I think we've seen it through Cynthia Voth's presidency. We will see it in Jill Hughes's. Obviously, we'll see it in yours soon, Kelly. That there is a willingness to have difficult conversations and open things up beyond just that board conversation to say what's the value that we're bringing people, and if we're not giving you value, we need to make change. We need to make it fast. So.
Absolutely. Well, what an insightful conversation. You all get to hear from our new members, our president-elect. Thank you all for your time tonight, and thank you all for watching.